I'm Annie Hoover, and this is my little piece, Mira. And it was just interesting, the three other artists that talked, seemingly random subject matter and styles of work, but all of you talked about like a memory or something nostalgic or your journey. So my work kind of has a little bit to do with that. This piece I think I made about this time last summer, and I was sick, and so I was doing things that I could sit in a chair and kind of do and watch TV at the same time as I was recuperating. So I made a number of these small beaded pieces. Oh, and here's another one right here. And it's really just pony beads, the plastic beads that you can buy at Walmart or Joann Fabrics. And I'm attracted to those kind of materials. You know, Jack was talking about using unusual materials. This is not unusual, but I'm attracted to using sort of really common materials, things that are sort of ubiquitous, things you would find at the dollar store or just around your house. And that's probably how I started working with the beads and the yarn, is I just had it around my house anyway. So it's just, I just take an embroidery hoop, I sew the beads on just with regular yarn, and then as it gets a little thicker, I take the outside part of the hoop, the embroidery hoop, away and just finish off the edges. So I don't know if there was actually a mystery about how I created it, but that's how it gets the beaded edge, instead of, if I hadn't taken the hoop off, it would have been around there. So right now at home, I'm working on a much larger beaded piece, the same style, but it's about 42 inches around, so it's not that big, but for working with just beads and yarn, it's kind of big, and I grossly underestimated how long it took to sew beads onto a 42-inch hoop. So I'm not sure when that'll be done, but hopefully soon. And that's about all. Does anyone have questions for me about my little beaded piece?
How much time does it take to make a piece like that?
Oh, and here's another one. Obviously, the little ones, they don't take that long, maybe off and on a couple days or a week. Okay. The big one, probably off and on about a year.
Okay. Wow.
So like doing the smaller ones, it's just not boring at all. You just do it, and it's like really exciting because it comes together real quick. But as you started working on the larger scale, it gets a little tiring or physically kind of daunting to have to do that. But I don't know, there's just something about the way the beads are, it just brings me back to summer camp, and I don't know, just having all that stuff, it's like jewels or something. You just like scoop it up like you're holding a treasure chest of a bunch of stuff. So
Are the designs planned, or are they more like organic as you
sometimes they're organic, and sometimes they're a little bit more planned. I might have like a color scheme, or I found some new beads somewhere that are a certain color, or I might have some kind of idea. Sometimes the transparency is interesting to me, or the color thread. So this, in the middle here, it has a multicolored thread, and that part was interesting to me, but some of them just have a plain color thread, and that's not really known. So,
What kind of, do you use a fabric combination?
it's just, yes. The first one I did was like on a feed sack, like a burlap feed sack, but these are just on burlap too, and it was just burlap that I had already. And that's usually, as far as materials, I look for things that are like, that I either already have or that I can find a bunch of. So like beads, like they're so cheap, and you can obviously get tons of them. But other materials too, like recycled materials or trash or But I often hunt for things at like Michael's or Home Depot, things where you can find a bunch of one particular thing. Helps me with materials.
Is there an image in this song?
There's not. That would be your image.
I think it's pretty.
No, I called it Mira because I don't know. A lot of girls might be familiar with the handheld mirrors that you hold, and often they're pink. So as I started working out, the shape of it reminded me of this handheld mirror, and then the color pink, which is pretty predominant in this piece. So that's why it's called Mira. Maybe I should have called it hand mirror. That would have made a little bit more sense. But holding it like that is what the title came up. That came up with the title.
One thing is, you know, you got it right where like a face would be, you know.
And also this,
oval.
the oval, that portrait oval. Yeah, I agree with that.
So why pink yarn?
The pink is when you go to like Joann Fabrics and they have all that yarn there. It is always the ones that I go for, but the pink and the red, and I don't know if animals are colorblind or anything, but my cat just goes berserk when I get the pink out. And the other colors he's like, oh, not as interested in. So the pink yarn has kind of been a running joke for the past year or so about where's the pink yarn.
So you're going for like interspecies engagement with your art?
Yeah, it's like he's very interested in that, so I take it as a sign that I have at least one admirer of the pink yarn.
Great.
All right. Well, I don't know what else I can talk about with Louise. But thank you. And so it was interesting to hear the other artists, because so like this show with, I don't know, what was it, John's 100 pieces?
175.
175. So there's all this work that you're like, oh, like it's so unrelated to, you know, my what I'm into, but it's so interesting to hear people talk about their own slice of the art world. So thanks.